GSL Season 1.
Hello, everybody. It's time for a little bit of Terran versus Terran. We've had so many good games today. I think this series is going to be no exception.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Cure versus Maru to decide first place here in Group A of the round of 8. The winner is going to be going directly into the round of 4. The offline finals here in the GSL. The loser will have to play in one more match versus either Classic or Rogue. And you know, I have to say, both Cure and Maru really impressing me so far today.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, all the games have been great. Even Classic losing, like when he took the whole map, that was impressive. You know, it's been a very special day here. Well, look, I mean, when we take these two players who've got such a long history, one thing always stands out, and that's that Maru has been the dominant Terran in Korea. But in any given day of GSL, Cure has the opportunity to change that.
Yeah, it has happened a couple times recently, but Maru just historically the best TVT player we've ever seen in StarCraft 2's history. And as you said, Cure is good enough that he can always upset Maru, but he's been in Maru's shadow here in the GSL for a long, long time.
Look at Maru's light on the left. He points the light up.
Yeah, I do the same thing. You don't? Where do you point your light?
To the ground.
You point it on the ground.
Yeah, like it's a street light.
No, you want the indirect light, man. It
That's
builds,
a light that's meant to be pointed down, right? It curves to the side.
He should be pointing it at the walls, what he should be doing.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be more diffuse.
Okay, we got a middle ground here, State. All right, I can go with that. Guys, we're going to go to Winter Madness for Game 1. The winner moves on into the round of 4.
All right, Cure the Blue Terran.
Who's going to make barracks in the middle of the map?
More in the top left. I do love that we get to see the player cameras. It is fun analyzing everybody's room. Because also Maru, the setup that he has, it's barely off camera right now, but the gigantic air conditioner that he has like a foot away from his face. I had that exact same setup in my old apartment. It is so nice.
That's my stream room setup.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
The summers are so hot and humid in Korea. If you're from the United States, it's something more akin to a summer in like Florida or Texas, where it is just...
Yeah, Louisiana or somewhere like that, where
you take a shower and then you walk outside and you're walking for 1 or 2 minutes and you feel like you need another shower.
You know, dreadful. It's funny. It's like when you come to Korea, you can experience any kind of weather, right? So I've had friends that have come here, like let's say a month or 2 ago, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's like Southern California," and I'm like, "Not always."
Yeah, for a couple of weeks.
I had other friends that came around winter, and they're like, "Well, it's so cold here." I'm like, "It's November." It's going to be, but you get the full range. But yeah, if you got a small room, like I think you have, or I think Maru has, because I know the same thing's in my stream room setup, you got to get one of those window units, AC, not pointed on you, but behind you, cools off the whole room. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, especially if you're playing a game like StarCraft. Those PCs are basically space heaters, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so we've got a block over here. Maru interfering with this command center, or what he believes to be a command center being thrown down here. It's not actually happening. Just to be clear, they're both doing double racks.
I think it's just one barracks here for Maru. It's one racks into a factory.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're totally right. Cure went for double racks. So he kind of faked it out like, oh, look at me, I want to make a command center, oh no.
I like that move coming in here by Cure. Going to be throwing down a factory now as Maru is baking the minerals to build a command center. And I'm hoping for Maru's sake that he builds this in his main base, but looking at the minimap right now, I think that's an SCV bet to build it in the natural expansion, and indeed he is. Maru still unaware it's 2 racks, but the Reaper sees both barracks, and like spotting the villain in a horror movie, immediately hightails it out of there. This is a dangerous situation now for Maru to be in, especially with the CC on the low ground.
Okay, he's going to go for the SCV, and this is the danger you face when you try to throw that command center on the low ground. There's no way to come in there and cover that. More Reapers are going to come up. He gets another kill. He goes for the Reaper. He backs back out. He will not lose a single unit.
Yeah, Maru with a Reaper couldn't even intercept this. Another Reaper gets taken out, and that might be enough damage that Kira can snowball this. With more Reapers coming across the map, Maru, at the very minimum, needs to cancel the command center, build it now at the high ground.
Kira playing the game of his life right now. The regen should be complete if he wants to run back in here for more. He's going to come in. Oh, that was a bad spot to go on. He went right on the corner of that plateau, and it bunched everything together, and the Hellion damage was too much.
Yeah, those Reapers jumping up the cliff, it was like they were trying to fit inside a clown car. The
Yeah.
Hellions just got the perfect shots on them. That's going to be enough for Maru to stabilize back at home. So both players now going for expansions. Kira, with the pressure that he's been able to exert up until this point, has secured himself a pretty safe natural expansion right on the low ground, and we already see the third gas being taken here at the natural. Meanwhile, Maru, he wants to play a very macro-focused game, we can tell, because you can't get the high ground or the low ground expansion of the natural, and so what does he do? He goes for a really fast third CC right in the main base. But, you know, Tasteless, I see that fast third gas here for Cure, and I'm wondering if we might see him try and do a two-base push, potentially with a second starport. It could be a killer build versus what Maru is doing right now.
So what exactly does Maru want to do here? I mean, you're playing from behind in a matchup where there's a lot of different things that can happen in the mid-game, right? I mean, any composition you can imagine you can get in TVT in the mid-game. They are both going for Disable here on the Ravens, which, by the way, has been very trendy TVT right now. I'm not always, privy to what the TVT meta is exactly, but everything I've been casting, I've been seeing a lot of this. A lot of mid-air Reapers getting killed, by the way.
Yeah, Maru's Reaper has been very unlucky this match. There's another one got cleaned up trying to get the scout in the main base, and I think for Maru, he really wanted to get that Reaper into the main to confirm exactly what Cure is doing, because given how the early game went, I don't think Maru really wants to spend a scan checking the infrastructure right now of Cure. That would be very expensive at this stage.
So, for now, Maru's going to stay back. I wonder if this is going to be one of these games where they end up meeting in the middle of the map, which I've always said, it's like one of you guys is wrong. Be in the middle of the map and fight.
Could be, especially with Maru. Well, maybe not with Maru going for the fast third CC.
No, never mind.
I feel like he should be playing defensively, but
It's interesting to see Maru win for the third CC like this, by the way. And then Kiara goes for a third command center, but on the low ground. He's probably right to do that, by the way, because, he's got the lead, from having the expansion denied earlier while his got up. Stim just now starting, by the way, for Maru.
Yeah, for both
and
players.
for Kiara. So they held back on Stim quite a bit, which means you're really not expecting to do anything crazy early on, which of course didn't happen. We didn't end up with any kind of fight in the middle of the map here. But he's going to push out, and I think what he wants to do is basically, because of the way this map's shaped, you can kind of control the two third base possible locations and just kind of delay it and try to inch ahead that way on your own development.
Yeah, we'll see how long it's going to be until Maru decides to try and secure that third expansion with the orbital. For now, just be sending some Hellions out, trying to get some damage done. Looking at the minimap, it does seem like Kira has a couple of units in position to intercept this. And that's a Hellion firing squad right there. Those Hellions gonna have to get out of there, man.
By the way, he might have no idea that this attack's coming just because he saw those units there.
Yeah, this is gonna be tricky. But I think for now,
This is
Maru,
going to be so funny when he lands that there. It's like,
Maru's just now reaching 2-base saturation. He's a little bit past it with the 50 SCVs. Oh, he will spot this with the Hellions. That's a very important scout, I think, here for Maru. The game is just going to continue to be a little bit quiet here. Both players just trying to develop on their respective sides of the map. Kira, after getting spotted by those Hellions, seems like he just wants to apply a little bit of soft pressure. Just delay Maru as long as possible for securing that third base, because even though Maru did get the third command center up much faster than Cure, Cure's already mining from it at the third. It's on location. His mineral saturation is going to be more efficient than Maru as a result. You see that if you look at the mineral tab at the bottom, plus 3,000 or so minerals a minute for Cure. Maru at around 2.1K.
okay, he is still roaming here. I mean, Maru is much smaller. He is in a very, very difficult position here. And the question is, how do you deal with what's on the map? He's going to send... Okay, I was going to say... No, is he going to do this? This could actually, I think, well, let's see what happens. He's going to send these across the map. He'll be able to throw auto turrets down and kill workers, but if I was Kira, I would look at this and go, I'm going to beeline across the map and just disable all your tanks and kill you. Right?
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings are going to catch this right now. Cyclone's already locked onto the first Raven, so Maru, he probably has to get out of here. There's no dead airspace with the Vikings involved. As Disable's going to come in, that's going to prevent
my God.
any auto turrets are being dropped now by Maru, and the Vikings getting to work already. 2 of these Ravens have been cleaned up. The last one's going to throw down maybe 2 auto turrets here, and
my favorite thing, auto turrets shooting each other.
getting a little bit of damage to the barracks.
Yeah.
That's what Maru's going to net from what were the most expensive units in his army composition up until this point.
I can't believe he did that. I guess, honestly, this is like a really bad game to play.
Yeah, and now Maru's going to try and get a little bit aggressive with the Marines, or at least probe through the center of the map. I don't know. If I'm in Maru's position in this game right now, I think after losing those Ravens, I'm just going to try and make this game as long as possible to slowly mitigate the advantage that Kira's got.
Yeah, this is rough. And, you know, Kira, it's a very straightforward game. He doesn't have a lot of tough decisions that he has to make right now. Maru's going to come through here. And remember, there's not a whole lot here with this, like as far as support. So, I mean, I don't know what he can really do here. I mean, Maru's going to back up, which is probably the right move. No 4th base for Kira yet. We see a small fight. Looks like Maru took what of that angle he could work with. But now we're going to see the flank come in here. This is going to shave off a decent amount of that army over there. There's tanks on the high ground.
Supplies relatively equal, but Kira with a lot more army supply right now. About 25 in Kira's advantage. Ravens quite low on energy, and I think one of those Ravens even maybe a little bit low on HP here for Kira, so got to be careful. A couple of clutch disables here for Kira if those Ravens eventually get back up to max energy. I think Kira should be able to push in if he wants to. But it is a tricky position with Maru only on 3 bases, with 7 siege tanks, with a high ground advantage. I think both players are recognizing the game is likely not going to be ending at the next few minutes, because each of them just threw down multiple Stargates. 2 starports now for Maru. I think 1 just finished up here for Kira, so we're going to have a little bit of a Sky Terran transition.
Yeah, and, you know, the question is going to be, did Kira wait too long to do anything here? He's maxed out. He can't make any more units. A lot of times this is a great moment to attack, free up supply, try to squeeze your opponent before they can catch up to you. He shaves off a little bit more with the splash damage from the tanks. He's going to inch in further. 2-2 is about to finish.
2-2 done now for Kira. Those Ravens much higher in energy. Still 1 Raven very low on HP. Got to watch out for Maru doing the target fire. He will get the snipe in. Only 1 siege tank disabled, it looks like. Okay, a couple more disables coming through. But right now, Maru standing strong here. Kira has not been able to find the window. And with air superiority on Maru's side, I don't think that Kira will have an easy time breaking into that 4th base.
Yeah, I mean, Maru's sealed up, right? He can't really, you know, be broken here. And I don't know that Kira's matching the expansions here. 3-3 started for both sides, so they're going to be even on upgrades there. It is a very rigid game here, positionally. Like, nobody's really budging. Kira's definitely got map control, but he's not asserting it. He doesn't want to overextend.
I think
this is just painful to see units try to squeeze through there.
Yeah, please take down those
rocks.
rocks.
Yeah, please kill those rocks. It feels like now you're on the other side of that. You cannot get back to that side unless you kill those rocks.
This army looks like it was run through a rolling pin.
Right, yeah.
This long little line.
Just smushed dough.
Oh, this is a nice angle if you're going to come in. But again, he doesn't have air superiority, so the Liberator is eventually going to shoo everything away. I mean, so much of TVT is about air superiority, and Maru, when do these units move across the map? I don't even see a medevac. Able to get some damage done. Sniping Vikings, hitting 5 SCVs. Oh, those Marines traded very well here for Maru. Anything you can do to slow down the air growth here of Kira is going to make your position so much easier from Maru's perspective. And oh, look at this tasteless. Every single medevac getting fully loaded right now. Kira is going to try and drop in the natural expansion.
Yeah, I mean, where's he going to go? I guess he wants to try to target the natural again, or maybe go into the main from here. Now, there's a lot of Vikings up here, just below where these medevacs are. This is super high risk. I feel like Cure kind of had a winning position and didn't know where to take the game. And so now he's going to have to take a high risk. And, you know, Maru's going to come up here. Huge amount of siege tanks sieging up.
Maru rebuilt the Ravens. There's disables on every single siege tank of Cure. Only one of them getting any shots in right now. Maru with a pretty significant arc of Marines, able to clean everything up. And after this gigantic swing,
I mean, now it's actually Maru slightly ahead in supply. Army supply, by the way, for Maru, much bigger. Cure, I think, really blundered that game. And now I'm not totally sure where this is going to go. Again, Cure was doing so well, and he just sort of didn't know what his move was. He kind of sat around, and then he impulsively loaded up the medevacs. The medevacs flew in, everything got killed. And Maru is steadily continuing to balloon out on the map here.
Well, we mentioned it earlier, the early game was so bad for Maru that likely the best play is to just try and defend and make the game as long as possible to make that early advantage as small as possible, and that's what Maru's done. He's been able to convert it, and he's navigated his army composition so well. I mean, he is basically playing a Met comp right now. He almost has more siege tanks than Marines. There's only 16 Marines on the map. He's not making any more. He's only making the power units. Siege tanks, Vikings, a couple of Liberators here and there, a couple of Ravens, actually all the way up to 8 Ravens now. And so in terms of army composition, Cure, he is much more mobile with a higher Marine count that he's got, but I find it hard to see any angle of attack that he can really capitalize because Maru's army in a head-on engagement is just so much more robust.
Okay, so Cure's just going to keep growing. We're going into insane macro TVT territory here. And you know, I'm not sure what the move is, honestly. You know, sometimes in Terran vs. Terran, when you get big enough, it's like, maybe I should wait for him to attack and then deal with that and then be the one to make the next move here. Maru going to clear out the spot up here at the top. Cure is still expanding pretty steadily. 67 workers, by the way, to 69, so a slight worker lead, but I guess that's pretty insignificant when you have this many orbitals.
Cure and Maru are going to be meeting
by the rocks that were never destroyed.
Surprised they still haven't gotten taken down. Instead, Maru going to go up the high ground here. Low stack defense getting set up by Cure. I like this move because the Ravens, they want to get in range to disable all these things if Maru decides he wants to push in. Cure already has the higher Viking count. So anything he can do to solidify his position in the air is going to make things a lot easier. Some nice disables come in from Cure, but again, it's hard to push through. It's all about this air battle. 24 Vikings secure to the 17 of Maru.
Okay, so, I mean, where is Maru going to try to take this game? You know, the Viking count is, in some ways, the most important part here. Cure having way more, by the way. Oh, hold on. He's going to end up with the Vikings kind of split, though. How does this pan out? I guess some of the other... Oh, he's going to move in here with the siege tanks, and Cure is so disabled right now. The tanks can't fire. The Marines are going to pour through and destroy everything.
Cure's army just collapsed.
Dude,
the Ravens came in. Everything was disabled. The armor shredding missile on the Vikings. And look at the supplies.
He's so much better at TVT. It's insane to me.
Maru is just the TVT god.
You know, it's funny because we talk about how Cure's like #2 all the time, and it's like, maybe he's going to do it this time. I don't think it's going to be this time. I mean, you can just see Maru like understands how these armies interact so much better that it is almost awe-inspiring. I mean, Cure, I don't even know that, well, he definitely did something wrong, right? But it's also clear that Maru did everything right.
Maru's just the master of navigating late-game TVT. GG called, and oh, that was a rough one, honestly, Tasteless. The way that early game went, everything was in Cure's advantage. He had the faster third base. He had the trade where it felt like Maru lost every single Reaper for basically nothing.
Yeah.
The natural expansion was canceled. SCVs went down. Oh, that was a dismal start for Maru, and he just decided, you know what, this is a terrible early game. I can't have any presence on the map. I just need to defend. As long as I block everything that Cure tries to throw at me and get to a late game, I'm confident I will be better. And that confidence was well placed. Maru just masterfully navigating his army composition, going from the bio tank start all the way up into basically Sky Terran. I mean, it was mech there at the end for Maru. We had maybe a dozen Marines in total on the field.
Maru with the big bottle of water, staying hydrated.
Very important. Stay hydrated whether you're casting or playing.
Yeah.
It's critical.
That reminds me, I got to drink some water.
Have some water, Tasteless.
I'm going to be like Maru. I'm going to cast the way that Maru plays this next game. Honestly, though, Maru looks so much stronger TVT that it is mind-boggling to me. How I have no confidence in Cure at all anymore.
All right, game number 2, loaded up. Maru leading this best of 3, 1-0. Maru spawning in the bottom left is the red Terran, Cure, the blue Terran in the top right. And yeah, it wasn't a very confidence-inspiring performance from Cure. I mean, the early game was superb there for Cure, but not being able to convert that into a win is, it's brutal, honestly. It makes me wonder if, moving forward in this series, we're going to see a little bit more timing attack-focused styles coming out from Cure, because looking at that game number 1, after he had the early game advantage, I thought for sure that he was going to be doing the 2 starport push that we often see, where you go for a lot of Vikings, you added maybe just 1 or 2 Liberators to slowly creep forward, and you try to push the other Terran on their side of the map with sheer air superiority. But for some reason, Cure instead opted to go for the 3rd command center. He decided to slow the game down and try and convert the lead that way. I just find it hard to take down Maru in any sort of macro TVT.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you get these huge armies, in StarCraft 2 specifically, moving them is like so complicated, right? I mean, you have all these abilities that can happen, be activated super fast. You know, you got Siege Mode, you got Stim, you've got Vikings that can land or pick back up and go into the air, the disables on the Ravens. I mean, there's just so much going on. And when you see someone who's got basically roughly the same composition and is able to move in and like wipe out, 60 army supply of his opponent and keep his own, that's insane.
Maru just seems like he always knows the correct mix of units to have at each stage of the game. And it's not even specifically a TVT thing. We saw this earlier versus Rogue in TVZ, where he pivoted from going into siege tanks to reactoring out Widow Mines, and basically going pure Marine, adding in a couple of Thors to counter exactly what the unit composition was of his opponent. Oh my goodness, even winning this trade right now, that SCV going to survive here for Maru, so free little SCV pickup. Although, I say that, the Reaper is in hot pursuit and might be able to chase this one down. Maru not protecting it with the Reaper.
Oh!
That could have been so cool there for Maru, but instead, Cure will even things up.
Can he get the SCV? Nah, not with the Marine coming up like that, too. So, a little bit of back and forth here at the start. The factory's further along here, since tech was prioritized here for Maru.
Maru's command center now finishing. Another SCV will fall as a result of this.
I meant to say that tech was prioritized there for Cure.
Oh, and Cure's going to push out the ramp. He is able to trade out the Reapers.
Sorry, guys, it's hard. These guys are both playing the same race, after all.
It's crazy.
It's craziness.
How do we tell who's who?
Who's who, man? Yeah, they're both Terran. They're both playing humans. This is nuts. So a little bit of pressure here for Maru. He's going to eventually be able to drive this away. But Cure's going to keep rallying Hellions as well as Reapers and see if he can't get some damage off. Even the SCV being jettisoned in for the attack if he needs to use it. The mine's going to hit. It bounces the Marines, and actually the Hellion gets hit.
Yeah, this is a bit of a tricky position now for Maru. These Marines very low on HP. The damage is so evenly distributed among Cure's units. 2 more Hellions will pop, and that's going to allow Maru to stabilize. But a very good trade here for Cure. 2 more SCVs get taken out. He was able to clean up those Marines as well. That's about the best possible trade you can ask for, I think, with those Reapers early on. The game's probably going to quiet down a little bit more now. Maru going into Ravens with Interference Matrix. Cure starting Ravens of his own on the other side of the map. And the 3rd command center on both sides.
Yeah. I think we're going to have something like what we saw, not like in the result of the last game, but in the development, where, it's going to be the Ravens with the disable, kind of ballooning out into more and more infantry here. This game is different in that, I think Cure got a pretty substantial lead early on, and was able to keep it. And I think, by the way, like the first third or the first fourth of the game, he played really well. The problem is he didn't know where to send the game from there. And that's tough. And, to Maru's credit, Maru played so turtly. Like, there wasn't anything obvious to do. I almost think in the last game, Cure should have expanded more. Like, sometimes when you play against a Giga Turtle, you got to, like, try to grow a little bit faster.
Maybe. It is a bit tricky, though, right? Because say he expands more, that's going to mean that he has to focus his economy a little bit more on minerals. And then if you're doing that, sure, you're going to max out faster than Maru, but your army's going to be lower tech. Maru's already trying to play this army style where he's going to have a lot more siege tanks, a lot more ravens. And so say Kira does that, and then it's the same position where he tries to break through onto Maru's side of the map, and he just trades out inefficiently, kind of the same way that we saw Classic versus Kira earlier on today.
True.
It's very tricky to solve that kind of problem when a player of Maru's caliber is just trying to play a long defensive macro game, because the real skill there for Maru is his insight, his intuition in terms of how to navigate his army composition, where to position everything, how to deal with all the different attacks that Kira can throw at him. And as long as Maru plays it well, the defender's advantage is pretty huge.
Yeah,
and so
it's true.
I'm trying to think of what, like you, Kira could have done to make that situation a little bit better. And I think maybe the biggest mistake was perhaps the attack going into the natural expansion. I mean, that Doom drop got basically nothing done. Every single siege tank except one was disabled.
That was definitely the wrong move. That was sort of like, I don't know what's going on, but I feel like this game's getting uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm going to YOLO in here. And, I mean, from there, I think the game was a lot easier here for Maru.
Oh, certainly.
So Maru's going to move back on the map. He might try to poke the third base and punt the command center back up into the main. Sometimes if you get in there before everything's set up, you can get away with this. Now, he's going to send the Ravens in a different direction. I almost forgot that Maru sent those 4 Ravens across the map weirdly and lost everything.
It was a bizarre game.
Yeah, no, there were a lot of weird moments. Okay, so...
oh, Maru's doing it back. This time he's running it back, and I think this time he's getting what he was hoping for. But
yeah.
Cure, this is his moment to capitalize. He knows that Maru just spent a lot of Raven energy on getting SCV damage done. Cure also going to lose a couple of SCVs here at the third base. The Hellion run by getting more done. And now Cure, I think the pressure is on to get something accomplished with this army right now. Maru identifies this. Cure, it seems like he still doesn't realize.
Oh, God, he's not moving this. Okay, hold up. He's going to come in and try to hit the disable on the tank. The auto turret's coming down. SCVs are pulled, but there is so much here for Cure.
Maru, those Ravens being low on energy and out of position, really complicating the defense back at home. He was able to get a lot of SCV damage done through harassment, but now it's Cure with an army at Maru's front door, getting a lot of damage done himself. Maru going to try and pivot down to the natural expansion with the dropships. Cure going to seize that opportunity. Instead, dive in on that siege tank with the Marines, able to take it out. 1-1 about to finish on both sides. Cure just a little bit faster with the upgrade, so these Marines are trading very effectively with these SCVs. 34 SCVs have fallen now for Maru. The army for Cure, it's starting to run out of steam a little bit, as the economic disruption that Maru got done early is starting to really pay off, but
I was wondering.
34 SCVs.
I was wondering when the if there was going to be a penalty for using those Ravens like that. Because when we saw this push coming out, I'm like, well, I know what Ravens are going to be used for with the push. When you see Ravens alone moving out, you know it's going to be for auto turret. But of course, when the Marines are here and they can gun down the tank, suddenly you're able to get a much better position. Maru's going to throw down these turrets and use SCVs to defend. He's going to send his drop back to try to fight this, and that's not going to cut it. GG, Cure wins game 2. Very interesting TBTs here. Yeah, I don't like that Maru both games is doing this auto turret stuff when I think that it's clear, 3 base, you've got tanks, you've got Marines with stim, you have whatever else is left over like a Cyclone or a Hellion, but are the auto turrets ever going to be worth it if they can disable all your tanks in a push? You're going to lose SCVs, you have to use the SCVs to help defend, right? This could be Cure's game now, who knows?
As long as he's able to play a shorter game, I mean, Cure does seem like he has been having the better early game so far in this series, both in game 1 and in game 2. And I'm right there with you with the Ravens. I mean, I'm sure for Maru in practice, this has been working more often than it has not been working. Otherwise, he wouldn't be doing it here. 1 series away from going to the offline finals. But so far, Cure has just had very good answers to the 4 or 3 Raven run-bys that Maru's been trying to go for. Or even when he's able to get some damage done, Cure capitalizing, seizing the moment, pushing across the map, is able to tie up the score. Now we're going to go into map number 3. Tourmaline here, Cure and Maru. Winner going on to the round of 4 in the offline finals in the GSL. Loser going to fall into the final match of this group.
Okay. On to a greener map. The SCV is sent out, and it's going to be a proxy racks. Do we have a second SCV that's going to come? Maru's going to make the depot here on the high ground. Yes.
Oh, is it going to be a proxy 2-racks here for Cure?
Yeah.
You know, we kept talking about how he should focus on trying to end these games early versus
Maru.
Maru.
That's the way. That's the play. You know what happens if you win with a rush like this? You don't have to worry about endgame state.
Oh, and I love the positioning, too. This is so aggressive.
It's so dirty.
Right where the third base would be here for Maru as the first barracks is thrown down.
When you see this rush, you got to watch for the 3 Reapers that come out versus the 1 Reaper that Maru has. Because if the 3 Reapers kill the 1 Reaper that Maru has before Maru's second Reaper comes out, usually the game spirals.
Yeah, Maru has to keep the first Reaper alive, and he also has to scout this relatively quickly. He is sending an SCV cross map. This has been pretty typical for Maru and his TVTs so far in this GSL. He tries to maybe disrupt the expansion timing of his opponent, or at least get some scouting information on his opponent. But unfortunately for Maru, I feel like he's going to be realizing a little bit too late what is happening when he gets to the main base of Cure. But at least he isn't at risk of losing this first Reaper.
Okay.
Oh, and I love the SCV timing here by Cure. He's trying to make this look normal.
Yeah, he's like, look at me.
if Maru had not sent the SCV to Cure's main base, he might be fooled by this maneuver.
Yeah. So he's sending the other SCV back. So you look at this and you go, okay, something's going to hit me really hard. The command center started here. There's a depot on the ledge.
Yeah, Maru still doesn't know exactly what's coming. He knows it's Proxy Reaper. He doesn't know how many Reapers it's going to be, so the SCVs have to get pulled. And for Maru, it's all about establishing this bunker here on the high ground. The SCVs are on the meat shield. Makes the micro very tricky here for Cure.
Oh, my God. He needs to start getting the regen. He has to have a perfectly straight line.
Oh, the SCV!
Oh! Doesn't do it.
Oh, my goodness. Just barely. Just barely. I think it regen 1 HP.
It did reset the auto heal.
Oh, this slowed things down for Cure so much. This is Cure's window to try and get some damage done with the 2-X opening.
Yeah.
Instead, the bunker is done already.
That might have actually held the rush. That might actually just do it, because now he has to go all the way back.
Heroic SCV from Maru, just really slowing things down. And now Cure's going to have to transition. You know, Björn said this in one of the GSL interviews after his series where he feels like a proxy 2-X opening in TVT is kind of a macro opening. I think that was the series versus Bunny. You can transition out of it. It's not a completely all maneuver, but the way that Maru's been able to defend this in the early game so far has been looking really, really good. His command center, the main base, if it's not done now, it will be finishing in just a moment. Gotta be careful of this Reaper, though. Grenade, I think, keeping it alive.
But what are you going to get done over here? Okay, he's going to come in. He's going to try to kill off some of these SCVs here. Not quite able to get a one-shot off, so he has to two-shot them. If you can get enough where you're one-shotting stuff, sometimes you can make it work.
That was pretty good there for Cure. Able to shave off 4 more SCVs.
But he is done with the attack. The barracks are lifted off. He's going to always send one back to the main. The other goes into the opponent's main to kind of scout and see what the tech is, and you can try to counter that.
That was some much-needed damage there for Cure. If he wasn't able to convert these Reapers into any sort of early-game damage here on Maru, I would have been really concerned about his position. Instead, able to take down, I think, 5 SCVs in total, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to tie things up quite nicely. Maru does have the faster command center, but I think once the orbital is done here for Cure, things are going to mostly normalize. There should be a near even worker count.
So where does the game go from here? That's the question we got to ask ourselves. It is going to be Cure with a fresh base landed. There is an extra command center here for Maru in his main, so it's not like he's on one base, really. He just hasn't taken his expansion, but he's able to produce workers at the same rate.
What do you think about this empty medevac being boosted across the map, by the way? He's doing it where Cure would see it. I initially thought this was him trying to shoo those Reapers back at home to try and defend against the drop, but this might just be a cheaper scan for Maru. There's nothing in the early game besides the Cyclone, which unless it gets a full duration lock on, it's not going to be able to clean up this medevac. So, cute little move here by Maru, just getting a little bit more scouting information. Notably, he checked to see if there was going to be a third command center. He couldn't get deep enough to actually check the infrastructure, you know, what units that Cure is going for, but he did spot no third CC. And this is going to be the 2 starport opening here for Cure, so he's going to be building up for a timing push.
I love it. I think this is how he has to play. He's going to be able to take this game. Now, I don't well, I mean, let's keep all the possibilities open, but I don't think he's going to send Ravens across the map and do the auto turret thing. I think that's so on its face like a bad move, especially now that we're in a game like this.
I hope for Maru's sake that he doesn't, because I don't think it will pay off in this circumstance, especially with what is inevitably going to be a 2-base push coming in from Cure, maybe with a really delayed third command center, just to hedge his bets a little bit here, but the push, or the game plan here for Cure is all about the push at the third base here for Maru. It's going to be him trying to leverage a higher Viking count and using that to push for a victory. And Maru still doesn't know. He only knows there isn't a third command center, which does telegraph to him that it's likely going to be some kind of early pressure, but keep in mind, Cure, over the course of this entire series, has been opting for the later CCs, but still macroing with a command center on the low ground. So now Maru is checking the low ground expansion here at the third base once more with a medevac. Cyclone locking on, I think, should be able to clean this up.
Nice, takes that out. One less asset that Maru's going to have when this push hits. Cure's going to be moving out. But remember that this is not a moment where the Ravens were thrown away, at least the Raven energy wasn't thrown away here for Maru. And it's going to all be about breaking this position. Where? There's one tank under the Ravens. Where are the rest of the tanks?
I don't know if we have another tank here for Maru. Yeah, it's one siege tank.
Unbelievable.
Oh, this is going to be...
done. Oh, my God.
This is going to be a tough hold.
Oh, I think he sieged up too far away, though. That almost seemed like a little bit too much of a wiggly move.
Perhaps just wanted to
get a little bit closer.
Perhaps just want to get on top of that bunker first.
I guess he doesn't know how many tanks are there, right? Like,
yeah.
So 2 tanks are up. Now 2 Ravens can disable 2 tanks.
Oh, the Vikings landing actually.
Oh, here we go.
Expecting the SCV pull coming in from Maru. All the SCVs going into the Vikings right now. Disables on almost every single siege tank here from Cure, but Cure just has a little bit too much.
Cure's so nasty. These disables are going to dissipate. And that's going to be it. He can come in here and kill off the last tank. It's 4 tanks to none.
The Vikings even cleaning up a good number of those siege tanks right now. Cure with effectively a mech push coming in again. Maru, he pulls the SCVs one more time, but his supply, it's going to dip below 50.
Oh my God, Cure did it. Cure's going to go on to the round of 4. I love this. That was, okay, GG.
Wow.
What's up? Cure wins. Oh my God.
That was pretty sick.
Oh my God.
That was awesome, Tasteless. I mean,
that was great.
Cure, this entire series has had such good early games. And even in game number 3, where Maru had a pretty good idea of what was going on, you know, he sent the scouting SCV before his first Reaper was done. He identified that there's going to be some kind of proxy
Discord is off, by the way. That call is over. Did you see him turn that off?
I did, Tasteless. Oh, man. Cure, great build, great execution in game number 3. He's going to be the first player going into the round of 4.
I mean, well-deserved. He played incredibly. I don't know. It was interesting, the switch all the way from game 1 into game 3 and how Cure, I think he played into his strengths by going for the kill in the early game. And I think Maru, against some questionable tech there.
And he made some very smart adjustments. And I especially like coming out with that build in game number 3, because in game 1 and game 2, there were some early game shenanigans from Cure, but it was pretty tame. He was opting for the macro games, and he really let Maru kind of lean into playing greedily. Yeah. And then you go and you just pull the rug out from under him there in game number 3. You completely subvert the expectation of Maru, which is Cure's going to expand a little bit later, but he still will expand. Instead, Cure going for effectively an all-in timing a push, able to take out Maru a very impressive way.
We're going to go to the interview now and see how Cure is feeling.
Congratulations, Cure. You're the first player to advance from the round of 4 into the finals weekend here at the GSL. How are you feeling?
일단 김덕 선수 승리 축하드리고요. 4강에 진출하시게 되셨는데 소감이 좀 어떠신지 궁금합니다. 네.
사실 연습 때 그렇게 승률이 좋지 못하고 또 상대들이 상대다 보니까 좀 걱정도 많이 하고 좀 쉽게 질 수도 있겠다 이런 생각이 조금씩 들긴 했어요. 최근에 좀 기세도 안 좋다 보니까. 근데 좀 생각한 대로 좀 한 판 한 판 다 최상의 시나리오로 딱 나온 것 같아서 저만 좀 정신 차리면 이길 수 있는 상황이 나왔던 것 같아요.
Yeah, before the matches, actually, my feeling was a little low because actually I didn't have any good win rates in practices, and also I have to face these giants. So yeah, I was a little worried myself. But that being said, all the pieces were falling into place in every game. So let's just keep it up and just keep it steady, and then I can make it. So I think that's what helped me a lot to get through this.
So in game number 1 versus Maru, it felt like Maru just had the edge in the long macro game. But whenever there were early game fights, like in game 2 and game 3, you were really able to build that momentum up. Do you think your early game is your strength right now in TBT?
사실 조성주 선수와의 1세트 대결에서는 좀 후반 가면서 좀 조성주 선수에게 밀리는 좀 부분이 있었는데, 그래도 2, 3세트에서는 초반에 계속 유리한 부분을 가져가시면서 그걸 토대로 이제 게임을 계속 굴려가시는데 성공을 하셨어요. 그래서 지금 김덕 선수가 보시기에는 좀 초반이 훨씬 더 좀 자신 있는 부분이라고 좀 여기시는지 궁금하네요.
패태전이 워낙 초중반에 좀 많이 갈려서 오늘은 좀 제가 가위바위보 싸움에서 좀 이겨서 초중반에 이득을 볼 수 있는 상황이 많이 나와서 그래서 중후반을 안 갈 수 있는 경기가 많이 나왔던 것 같아요.
Yeah, I think especially in TVP, the early games is actually a very essential part of the game. So that being said, I think I won all the mind games and build fights. So I think that helped me a lot getting through that.
Going on into the round of 4, what are your goals and expectations for this season of GSL?
이제 4강 오프라인 또 결승에 진출하신 만큼 또 기대가 남다르실 것 같은데 4강전을 앞두고 좀 어떤 기대를 좀 하고 싶으신지, 어떤 기대를 좀 하실지 궁금합니다.
지금 온라인으로 하는데도 대회가 좀 그렇게 많지도 않고 정말 큰 대회다 보니까 온라인인데도 불구하고 굉장히 긴장을 많이 했었는데 이번 오프라인 경기도 좀 긴장도 많이 될 것 같고 좀 기대도 되고 좀 옛날 생각도 많이 나면서 재밌는 경기 할 수 있을 것 같아요.
Yeah, I mean, even if it was online, I was very nervous because GSL is one of the biggest StarCraft tournament in a year, and there's not much of a big tournament. So even if it was online, I was very nervous. So that being said, I mean, I would be nervous on the offline as well, but I'll try to remind of the past memories and try to enjoy myself.
We're looking forward to casting your games, and best of luck to you in the Final Four.
네.
All right, we did. Okay. Wait.
You cast the games now, Cure.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for the first player who survived and moved on into the round of 4, but there's one more spot left. Before we go to that part of the tournament, we need to go and find out who's going to be eliminated first. Coming up next, a PVZ Classic versus Rogue.